David Benavidez is too big. Stop calling out Canelo. Ego, you're a hater. Blobbity blue blah blah blobbity blue blah. I ain't hear words you said. Hibbity hoop blah. Is David Benavidez too big for Canelo Alvarez? Baby, you want baby, I know that. Or are y'all just too scared? In this video, I'm gonna break it down. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego. I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I grow tired of some of you boxing fans. I really do. And the reason is you think you know everything. You think you know what you're talking about, and that's fine. You know, cool. Confidence is cool. I have it. But the problem is when y'all come to my page trying to check me or correct me or fact check me, and you don't know what you talking about, right? David Benavidez did a thing. He destroyed Zuffa Ramirez at cruiserweight. And it was a masterful, I was going to say masterpiece, but masterful performance by David Benavidez. Stopped him in 6 rounds. Nobody had done that to Zurdo. I did a full breakdown on my channel. What really happened, which is my original series, often imitated but never duplicated. So please watch that for a full breakdown on the actual fight, what happened in between the rounds in that. This video is about something a little bit different. I'll put a card at the end of the video so you can catch that and hype this video up. So now after the fight, Benavidez calls out Canelo Alvarez yet again. He's been doing it for years. And the fans are now scared. And we'll get into that right now. Oh, David Benavidez, why is he picking on such a small Canelo? Canelo's too small. But here's the problem. As I said at the beginning of this video, I've been here in this space. Some of you guys just got here, and that's the big difference, and I'm going to prove it because right now I'm about to spank you. I'm going to spank you like I always do with receipts. Now, here's the problem with the whole Benavidez is way too big. Why is he a bully picking on small Canelo, all that? Here's the problem, and I posted this on my Twitter. David Benavidez is too big for Canelo. The Canelo Cinnabons are cooked, and I'm about to show you. This is the same man who volunteered to move up to cruiserweight to fight a random African, Makbuk Air, a champion that nobody ever heard of and nobody ever asked him to fight. Now, again, some of you guys just got here, so I'll prove it. Look at this right here on your screen. Saul Canelo Alvarez to fight Makbuk in a bid to become a 5-weight world champion, right? I didn't make this article. Canelo also got the WBC's approval to fight Makbuk Air for a cruiserweight title, right? You're seeing it. And notice the shills of boxing, you wrote this article, but you're not going to call Canelo out because he's doing this deal with Turkey and you're subservient to Turkey and Ring and all that. So this is why you come to me for that real you wrote an article, this guy who's with Ring, this reporter, right, saying that Canelo got approval to fight Makbuk Air at cruiserweight. Now the world is calling for not Billy and Canelo, but David Benavidez and Canelo. And now they're saying, oh man, Canelo's just too small. But he was about to fight this big, the gods must be crazy African dude, this big-headed dude. Did we get him? It does smell like ish, doesn't it? Right? This is who Canelo, like nobody, mind you, nobody in the world wanted to see this fight, asked for this fight, and they had a whole WBC convention. You see the pictures, they're facing off. This guy is a cruiserweight. So look at his arms. I mean, obviously he's big and he's bigger than Canelo. So it proves that Canelo is a cherry picker. You want to fight this random guy who was a certified cruiserweight, but a guy who moved up to cruiserweight for one fight, right? David Benavidez, he's just too big. And this is where you fans get tripped up. Because your boy got a memory like an elephant. I don't forget. I remember what you told me. So that you could go ahead and dead that right there. Oh, Canelo's too small. Then why did he want to move up to cruiserweight to fight that random MacBook Air guy and nobody wanted to see that fight? Because Canelo likes to do what Canelo wants to do. And I've been saying this for a minute. Canelo does not really care about the fans. He cares about his family. He cares about his money. But for his career, it's been a minute where you can't really say he's fighting for the fans and he care about the fans' opinion. And that's why at the David Benavidez fight, he got called out after Benavidez cooked Zuffa Ramirez. Canelo was in the building at the T-Mobile Arena to support Jaime Munguia on Cinco de Mayo. But you had a first ever Mexican main event at that weight battling off on Cinco de Mayo, and Canelo didn't even stick around long enough for the main event to happen because, in my opinion, he knew that Benavidez would likely win, and he knew that he would be on the chopping block, and Benavidez might be like, hey, come in the ring, let's face off, or at the very least call him out, and he didn't want that pressure, so he dipped. And again, who cares about the Billy fight? That's mid. You're coming off a loss to a smaller Crawford, and Billy is a good fighter at the weight, but he don't really have a huge fan base. In fact, some people thought he lost to Lester Martinez and shouldn't be the champion, right? So it's like, one, what does that fight really even represent for a guy like Canelo at this stage? Another non-big name. Like, you should be trying to put, like, notice they try to make Canelo into like the Mexican Mayweather. He's not. He's not good enough, first of all. And then two, you're not putting up these extraordinary events where everybody's just tuned in. Like, you know what I mean? You're fighting on an app that no one really knows about, DAZN. You're going to take the fight to Saudi Arabia, according to the reports, making it harder for Mexican fans or just fans alike to make that 18, 19-hour flight to Saudi Arabia. Plus, there's a war in the Gulf with Iran, and they've closed the Strait of Hormuz, stuff like that. So there's drone attacks and hotels being attacked and targeted. Who's going over to Saudi Arabia at this current moment with the conflict in the Middle East to go watch Canelo and Billy? So again, yeah, he got a 4-fight deal with the Saudis. It lines Canelo's pockets, and he's fulfilling it. But these aren't really big fights. Canelo should be, at this stage of his game, trying to fight the biggest names like Benavidez. But then y'all come up with all these excuses after years. They were both at 68, mind you. Then Benavidez couldn't get the fight, moved to 75 because he wasn't fighting him at 68. So he's like, man, I gotta do something. So they still were pretty close. And Canelo has 2 fights at 175, Bivol and Kovalev, which was FAF, right? So you would be like, all right, cool. They still could fight at 75. Canelo still didn't fight him then. Excuse after excuse after excuse. Then he's like, all right, I'm tired of waiting. I'm going to cruiserweight, which Canelo said I just showed you, said he would fight at cruiserweight against somebody else. And now the fans, after all these years, they're like, no, he's just too big. Well, you could have fought him at 68 when you guys were definitely in the same weight class, and he was pretty much your mandatory. He was the number 1 guy. No one had beaten him for his belt. He popped for cocaine in his system and got his belt stripped away, right? But he was still undefeated. So it's always been a big fight, always been a good fight. We know what the problem is. It's Canelo and his fans, because his fans, y'all look stupid. And you guys just support anything. Canelo can punch a baby, bah! And then y'all would have an excuse. Oh, the baby had it coming. You know, it's always an excuse for anything that Canelo does. But in true ego fashion, I'm going to keep cooking y'all because this is what I do. And you don't know more than me. You're not better than me when it comes to this boxing stuff, right? Just to further solidify and kick someone while he's down, salt in the wound, which is what I like to do. This also kills and dispels the whole, oh, Benavidez is too big for him and all that, right? Because Canelo, here's ESPN. Again, notice the Ring reporter wrote this article too. Let's read what it says. Canelo Alvarez he's expressing interest in a heavyweight title fight with Alexander Usyk at 201-pound catchweight. So Canelo has been fooling you and lying and capping. He said he would fight Usyk when Usyk was at heavyweight. Come on, bro. And this is, look, ESPN, you see it right there, blah, blah, blah. So let me get this straight. Benavidez is too big, but you pump fake like you wanted to fight Usyk in 2022, right? And the only reason why the MacBook Air and the Usyk and the heavyweight and cruiserweight fights calmed down is because Canelo lost to Bivol at light heavyweight. So that was probably a reality check. So he probably was like, dang, man, if I'm getting cooked by Bivol at 75, I had better not go up more in weight.
So where does the challenge of Dimitri Bivol rank in your... So we know how much you love to challenge yourself. We saw Eddie Hearn's comment.
So right here, this is your boy Canelo.
You said you'd move up to 1 pound over the cruiserweight limit to face Alexander Usyk, and I've seen Alexander Usyk's manager said that he dropped. I've seen Alexander Usyk.
Bro, fake, FAF. The man said you would move up to fight Usyk. I lost. Oh yeah, I said that, bro. You see, you don't want to fight no Usyk. But then you fake it to your fans. Look, yeah, I'll fight him. Usyk.
Alexander Usyk, and I've seen Alexander Usyk's manager said that he dropped back down to cruiserweight to face you. Spoke to Eddie Reynoso, he wasn't too keen on the fight, but
yeah, Eddie Reynoso wasn't too keen because he know Usyk will beat the brakes off of Canelo.
is it something you were genuinely interested in?
A lot of things say, right, and like as a fighter, I don't care. I fight whoever.
Bro, same old song and dance. I fight anybody. I don't care. Anybody. I don't even care. All right, bro. You don't care, but you're not fighting them.
Anybody. But freeze is freeze, right? I have this fight in front, but like I say, I really don't care.
See? Canelo been stringing y'all along like a female. You trying to date a female, you trying to court her, you trying to, you know what I mean? And she's like, oh yeah. And she really has no intentions of like settling down with you, dating you. You just wasting your time. Now that don't happen to me because if I felt that there was no chemistry, then I'm out. But anyway, it happened to some of y'all. I know that for a fact. But anyway, he like stringing the fans along, giving them hope that he could fight Usyk, knowing just like he did with Benavidez, just like he did with a Bivol rematch, just like his fans didn't want to see a Floyd Mayweather rematch. And then when Floyd was 45, 48, then they're like, oh, Floyd need to come up to 168 and fight him. Bro, Canelo been capping, period. Acting like he want to fight Usyk, but Benavidez is too big. Come on, bro. But peep this.
One day, do you think we'll see you versus Usyk?
Why not? Maybe.
One day, do you think we'll see you fight Usyk? Why not? Maybe. That was in 2022. 4 years later, he hasn't fought Usyk. He hasn't fought Makbook. He hasn't fought at heavyweight. He hasn't fought at cruiserweight. He ain't fought David Benavidez. He hasn't rematched Bivol. He hasn't fought Beterbiev. But around this time, he was feeling himself, selling y'all all these dreams.
Usyk?
Why not? Maybe. Like I say, I really don't care.
One day, do you think we'll see you versus Usyk?
Why not? Maybe.
Why not? Maybe. But now y'all saying Benavidez too big. Clown world.